Hi, my name's Sky, and over the years I've been fortunate enough to meet quite a few bands and artists that I'm a fan of, but there's one artist, one band in particular that always sticks out with all my interactions with them, and I want to talk about that a little bit today. Um, and that band is 21 Pilots. So, my first interaction with the band was during Takeover London. It's it's during trees. Tyler and Josh are about get on their platforms to drum on top of the crowd for the end of trees. Tyler comes down. He says a quick hello to my friends. I get a quick. I stick my hand out, get a quick high five as he goes past. He comes back, stands in front of me, and reaches over the crowd to get to me again. And he has a big smile on his face. There's videos and photo of this. I'll edit it in as I'm talking. Um, that is my first interaction with Tyler. Not the first time seeing them live or anything, but the first time me and him had been face to face. Then before that, like the day I joined Twitter, Josh liked a cosplay photo of mine during Scaled and Ice Sierra, right towards the start, just after the show it came out. I'll include that as well. Then you get to an evening with 21 Pilot. Well, just before that, just before HWAP London was my birthday, and just after my birthday, Tyler liked one of my cosplay posts on Twitter. In fact, I think it was the one that was pinned on my profile at the time. It had a bunch of cosplay from all eras. He liked it. Then a week later was HWAP London, an evening with 21 Pilots, Camden, at the Electric Ballroom. I went to the signing, and there's video of this that I'll include as well. But went up, said hi to Josh, handed Josh my letter I'd written for him. I think I wrote a letter for both of them. It was one letter. Yeah, because I say here's a letter for you and Tyler. And at that point, Tyler took hold of the conversation and said he knew me. Which I knew, obviously. Like I said, he'd liked my post, we'd been face to face and stuff before. But I felt a little bit like a deer in the headlights when he did it, and I ended up rushing the rest of the interaction. Fine with Josh. But Tyler saying that freaked me out a little bit. Then during the show, trying to remember all of it. It's hard. Like obviously, it's a few years ago now, and I have so much in my brain. So during the show, I'm trying to remember what order the set list is. We'll do Screen first. So he starts playing Screen. Tyler starts playing Screen on his uke. Da, 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 da. And he's walking towards me, looking me in the eyes, and I don't know what to do, so I go right at him, and he breaks his serious face and has this big smile and nods at me. And then during Guns for Hands, in my letter to Tyler and Josh that I gave to them at the signing, I talked a little bit about some of my problems I have, including my mental issues. And during Guns for Hands, Tyler comes up and makes a point for the My Disorder, My Condition line during the rap. He stands right in front of me and like gestures towards me to make it clear that he knows. Like, also at the end of the show, right before Tyler's about to jump off stage to get on his trees platform, he looks at me and starts patting his heart, as if to say thank you. Then right at the end of the show, Josh points at me and my friend, and that was it for ASWAP London. And then last year, obviously, with Clancy Tour, went a bit crazy with the level of interaction I had with the band, their crew, and everyone that makes up 21 Pilots. Oh god. So the first show of the European leg of the tour in Hamburg, what happens is I'm outside the venue talking to one of my friends that I hadn't seen since ASWAP London, that had travelled from England to get there. In fact, two of my friends, not one. But I was with one in particular getting a photograph. And Mace walks up to us. Mace was a photographer, on and off photographer, because he did some of Bandito Tour, but not all the Bandito Tour. He took a break during Scout Nicely. We had Ashley as the photographer, and now he's been back with Clancy and Breach. Mace came up behind us and asked to film me, and because I was so excited about seeing my friends that I hadn't seen in a year, I was like, Mace, can you wait? And my friend's like, no, go do it. So Mace waited a sec while we took photos, and then Mace recorded a little video of me. What at the time when recording it was me taking my Clancy mask off, but he edited it into me putting my Clancy mask on, and that ended up in the Judge video for Hamburg. And then at the very end of the show, during Trees, so the confetti's falling, and I have this moment where I just like look up and watch the confetti fall, and then I close my eyes and I'm listening to the music. And when the music ends, I turn around and behind me is Mace and Mark directly in front of me. Well, behind me, but you know what I mean. I turned around so they are in front of me at the barricade. And but what had happened, I didn't realise this at the time, is Mark had recorded video of me and Mace took a photo. The video was released, I think, the next night or the same night. My face isn't in the video. It cuts off my face, but the rest of my head is in the video and my body. Then during the We're 21 Pilots and So Are You at the end of the show, Mark is recording down the barricade. He's walking along, recording the whole front row, and I'm doing the logo. And Mark stopped to record my tattoos on my arms as I'm doing the logo. And then we get to Berlin, the next show. I got fist bump from Josh. We get to Prague, the next show after that, and Josh at the end of the show like bows his head towards me and thanks me. Then you get to Munich. Okay, so Munich was my birthday show. I camped out for Munich. The night before, 2 hours before it was going to turn my birthday, Mace posts the photo he took during the Hamburg show on his Instagram, and then it gets shared on the band account while I'm outside the venue in Munich. That was very nice. Big fan of that photo. I like that photo a lot. Then the next day, I went straight up to Mace as soon as I saw him. Was like, thank you for the photo and for posting it and stuff. And he talked about how it was one of his favourite photos of the tour. And then we talked a little bit about how it was my birthday, and he asked me to do the speech in Munich, which I had a little panic about, because at first he was asking me to do it on my own. So I grabbed my German friend Pia and was like, no, Pia, help me. And so Pia did the first part of it and I did the rest. that was a special show. They went out their way to treat me well on my birthday. I will say, Pilot Security, for all the bad that is said about some of the members of Pilot Security, Travis and Dan looked after me that entire tour, and like they would check on me during the shows and stuff. It was really nice, to be honest, because there were times where I was struggling quite a bit with my mental health and my physical health, and yeah, it was nice. Got a photo with Dan the morning of my birthday. You can see how happy I am. I like Dan a lot. Dan's a cool dude. I think after that, the next one would be Glasgow. Glasgow was the signing, the first signing I went to on the Clancy tour. I walk up to the table and Tyler says, "Look who it is. How's it going, man?"
Hey Tyler, nice to you.
And by this point, like, I'm not deer in the headlights anymore, so I was like, "I'm doing okay, how you doing?" And we talked about his voice, because we noticed that he wasn't screaming as much during those shows at that point during the tour. So we talked a little bit about his voice and how that was doing. I talked about the accidents I'd had on tour. I was in a scooter crash a couple of days before the show in Hamburg. Broke my nose, had to have a bunch of stitches. First bone I ever broke in my body while I'm in Germany a couple of days before the first show of the tour. Just my luck. I have a scar. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but it's here. On tour, everyone would joke that I had the Clancy scar across the nose because I was always dressed up. Funny how that works out. So yeah, I spoke a little bit about that injury. In Prague, poured a freshly boiled kettle all over my thumb and got second-degree burns. We talked a little bit about that. Yeah, no, that was a fun one. But then in the middle of it, I had separate letters for Tyler and Josh. And Josh was done with one of my friends talking to them and was about to join mine and Tyler's conversation. So I turned to Josh and I was like, "Here's a letter for you, Josh." And he goes, "Late happy birthday, by the way."
Right now, I had this one's for you as well, Josh. I had
Happy
a
late
scooter
birthday.
crash. Thank you.
And my brain just went. And it was the moment deer in the headlights, like I had at the Camden signing. Well, it wasn't in Camden, it was in Oxford Street, but HWAT London signing. Deer in the headlights moment with Josh. Didn't expect him to say late happy birthday. Didn't know that he remembered when my birthday was. So I had a whole, like, but Tyler took over and encouraged me to talk more. And that was the second time I'd been to a signing for them. Then the Glasgow show itself, I got to hold Tyler up for the first time during Hold On To You. I had a few different photos and videos taken of me, not by any of the pilots team, but by other concert photographers that were there in the pit. And I don't know what you call the area in front of the stage, between the barricade and the stage, but that pit area, I had some people take some photos. What else? Oh, no. They posted a video where I was jumping up and down. Also one in Bologna when I was in Italy as well, of me jumping up and down. I'm a bit of a kangaroo at shows. You wouldn't think it with how disabled I am, but somehow it comes out of me. I become a kangaroo and I'm very, very bouncy. Even before the shows, to be fair, I like to warm up. Then we get to Birmingham. And Birmingham, Tyler's on vocal rest. It's the next day. It's directly after the Glasgow show. Tyler is on vocal rest at the signing. So Josh was the main person I was talking to, but Tyler was very much there and present in the moment. And it was the first time I got to tell them and show them about my tattoos. And we spoke about each of them, like the eye tattoo I have, because that was the day I found the band, on the 17th of the 7th, 2017. No, the 7th of the 7th, 2000. I forget, the day the eye appeared on their social media, I found them from a news article. So I have that tattooed. That is for an evening with 21 Pilots in Camden. The Sigh. And these are Handwritten Shyway lyrics by Tyler. And then on my chest I got the FPE. So I showed them and we talked about them, and Josh was very attentive and listening and responding to what I was saying. Tyler grabbed my arms and started caressing the tattoos. Which was, like, I mean, what else can he do? He's on vocal rest. He wanted to show that they meant something to him, that I had the tattoos and that he was paying attention to what I was saying and stuff. So that was his way of doing it. But it was very odd having Tyler caress my arms and hold my arms and caress them while I'm talking. But that was Brum. Then after Brum, the next one's Belfast. The next big one. Belfast is one of those shows, much like Munich, that I will never forget for the rest of my life. I went into Belfast with a plan, and it worked 100%. And it's good that it did. So I did the judge. I was in my routines in the night outfit for Belfast. I told Mace my intentions for what I was doing in that show. It was like, okay, I'm here in the routines of a night outfit. I'm going to attempt to position myself where Tyler is going to put the chair down during routines in the night. And so I spoke with some people that had already done it, and I roughly, along with some of my friends, calculated where roughly he would stop in the venue. Roughly, because there was no guarantee, but put me in the position that he can see me and hope for the best, you know? And it worked perfectly. I was there, and I see him coming down, and he's looking at me, and then he goes off to the side, and he gives some people, I think it was one person, like a fist bump. And then he's looking at me again, walking towards me with the chair. And I know it's happening at this point because, like, the eye contact is very clear. Like, he's looking at me, he's checking out the outfit, and he's walking towards me with the chair. So it's like, all right, I got to lock in. And I locked the fuck in. And I looked into the camera, I did all my routine shit, and it went perfectly. Like, I just don't have words to describe it. It was a great gift that him and his crew gave me. And the next show in Dublin, I was by the stage that he does ride on. I put just thank you for last night on my phone and just held it up for a little bit so he could see it. And he did. And he knows I'm always appreciative. They all do. Both Tyler, Josh, Mace, Mark, Shap, Laura, which that was, I forget which show of the tour it was, and maybe it was at the end of Dublin. I ended up, so to the left of the stage was like the area they come in and out, and their crew comes in and out, and I ended up just over there. Debbie, it was during trees. Debbie came out, I was stood by Debbie. I didn't want to bother her because she was just like chilling in the crowd, and I know a lot of people ask Debbie for photos and stuff, but she's not working. She's out having fun. I'd rather just let her have fun. So, but while I was over there, I leant against that entrance thing where they come in and out, and me and Laura were exchanging looks. Laura was looking at me. Laura's their stylist, who I'm a massive fan of. Yeah. Then during, what is the next one? I'm in a bunch of videos from London. I did the judge again in London. And at the very end of night 2, right as they're going down to Tree Circle, I said goodbye. I said until next time. I don't think Josh heard it, but Tyler heard it, and I have a little video of me saying it and Tyler like nodding at me and stuff.
So next time.
And then we get to Breach, and I flew to Toronto, and I'm in like the video on YouTube and stuff. I can spot me. You probably won't spot me. But night 2, the one that got shut down, Mace was gonna come into the pit and take photos of me for Doubt, and because I had my Doubt mask and I was in the London night 1 outfit. But then they had to cut Doubt, and so that never happened, unfortunately. But yeah, story time with Sky.